Croeso pawb to the PlayStation Indies PSN sale. You may have noticed in the last video that I had some new overlays. Let me know what you think of them in the comments. Anyway, back to the thing you really care about. This sale is massive, and I mean huge. Strap yourself in, folks. There's a load of games I'm going to cover, and there's a huge amount of them that are really cheap and you can save a load of money on. So if you like the idea of finding cool new games to play and saving a lot of money along the way, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe. You're welcome here anytime. Now the sale ends on the 21st of November, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up, we have Absolov Ends of Gods. It was released in 2021, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.19, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty great deal, as this edition includes both the PS4 and PS5 versions, with 4K support for the PS4 Pro and PS5 as well, which is great. In this horror game, you awaken a facility built to research the worlds of Yggdrasil, where you get to explore a nightmarish sanctuary of futuristic tech and Norse mythology as you navigate the chaos to survive lurking dangers and find your true purpose and destiny. Now, there's a huge amount of games in the horror genre, and it's not really my genre. I'm not a fan of horror games in general, although survival horror games can be cool sometimes. I generally don't play a lot of them, but this game's got really good reviews and it's got a pretty interesting idea and story. It's nice to see higher production values in this genre because a lot of them can be really low budget and really cheaply made, and this one looks pretty good, and it's on a really good deal as well. So if you're a fan of horror games and you like the idea of this one, or you're into Norse mythology and futuristic story settings, then you'll probably really enjoy this one. If you're a horror fan and this is up your alley, then definitely check it out. It's nice to see a horror game that isn't just about zombies or ghosts. So if you like the sound of it as much as I do, definitely check it out. I think it's a really good horror game for a pretty good price. And hey, if you never played a horror game before, then you could start here. It seems like a pretty decent game at a pretty good price. But there's so many games in this genre, and a lot of the big, famous AAA ones, or really big indie hits, are not much more expensive than this. You have so much to choose from that if you're not quite sure about a game, you'll find another one that will be more up your alley. So if you like the look of this one, check it out. But if not, don't forget to keep up with the videos, and you'll have a lot of options to choose from in the future as well. We have a huge bundle next, Darksiders 3 Blades and Whip Edition. It was released in 2018, so it's 7 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £9.74, which is a really great deal, as this edition includes 2 DLC expansions of The Crucible and Keepers of the Void, plus the first 2 games. And the first game is the War Master Edition, and the second game is the Definitive Edition, which is great. You're getting the best versions of all 3, with all of the content included. Can't ask for much more really, it's a great deal. These are all hack and slash adventures, and in the first game you play as War, accused of starting a war between heaven and hell, in which the demonic forces slaughtered the heavenly hosts and laid claim to the throne. While in the second game you play as Death himself, awakened by the end of days, embarking on a quest to redeem his brother's name, while dealing with ancient grudge that threatens all of creation. And finally, in the third game, you return to the apocalyptic Earth as Fury, a horseman of the apocalypse on her quest to destroy the 7 deadly sins, finally bringing balance to the forces that ravage the Earth. It features an open world to explore, and multiple combat forms, abilities, and weapons to use along the way. Now, this series is pretty popular. It was a cult hit back in the day, and they kinda compare to The Legend of Zelda, in that they're hack and slash adventures, where you get to explore areas or dungeons, I guess, and then improve and upgrade as you go. It's nice to see this sort of genre around. You don't see a lot of them generally these days. It's like an old school sort of genre, but this is a really good series and a really good theme in as well. Picking Horsemen of the Apocalypse as the theme is a really cool idea with a lot of lore that comes along with it, which is great. So if you're a fan of this sort of genre and you've never played this series, then you might want to check this out. You're getting 3 amazing games for a really good price. But if you're not a fan of this genre, or you don't want to pick up 3 full games, then you might want to stay clear. But hey, it's a really good deal for 3 really good games. So definitely check it out if you like this series or you've always wanted to try it. This might just be the best time to get involved in it. And hey, if you never played a hack and slash adventure before, then I'm not sure I recommend starting here. You're getting 3 huge games, so if you don't like them, you're kind of stuck with a lot of games that you're not going to play, and you've spent extra money that you needn't have. So you're probably better off starting with a different game in the genre instead, and if you like it, you can always come back and pick this series up in the future. And if that's the case, don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss it when it's on sale again in the future. We have a deck building game next, Deep Sea Derelicts Definitive Edition. It was released in 2020, so it's 5 years old, and it's on at least an 80% discount for the low price of £3.99 or £2.99 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal considering this edition includes both the DLCs with new features, content, areas, gameplay mechanics, and more as well. so you get a much better version of the game with a lot of content included, which is great. In this roguelike deck builder, as a poor stateless outcast in a dystopian future, you seek a fabled derelict alien ship in deep space. Finding it will grant you citizenship and a better life. It features comic book graphics and procedurally generated content. Now, I'm not a massive fan of roguelikes, but what I like about this game is that it's different. It's a deck builder, which is a unique genre in itself, and I also think it's a unique mix. I think deck building lends itself to roguelikes very well. Deck builders rely on you building your deck and improving over time, which is basically the same thing. So if you're a fan of deck building games, and you like roguelikes, or you just like the comic book art style of this game, which I think is fantastic, it's a really striking art style, then I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. It's a very unique mix of genres, and I think a lot of people will really enjoy this if they give it a chance. So if you like the sound of it, or you just like games that are a bit different, why not check this out? I think you'll have a lot of fun if you pick it up. And hey, if you never played a roguelike deck builder before, because I don't think there's another game like this, then you could definitely start here. It looks like a really good game for a pretty good price, and it's definitely very unique and interesting. But if you've always wanted to try a roguelike game, this isn't typical of that, so I wouldn't try it unless you're really into deck builders. You're probably better off starting with another roguelike game instead in that case. But don't worry, if you subscribe, you won't miss your other options in future videos. Disjunction Digital Deluxe Edition is our next game. It was released in 2021, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.29, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, as this deluxe edition includes 7 avatars and the soundtrack as well, which isn't actual gameplay stuff, but hey, it's free, and it's nice to have for this low price. This RPG is set in a tech-noir 2048 New York City. While an insidious drug spreads through the city, a prominent community leader is arrested, and you get to play as 3 citizens who rise up to uncover the truth and solve this injustice. And it promises to feature meaningful story choices, which a lot of games say, and not a lot of them deliver on. But hey, this game's got really good reviews, it seems that people really like it, and it seems like a pretty cool game in general, and at this price, it's a really good deal. So if you're tempted at all, why not check it out? It looks like a really cool and interesting game for a really low price, and you can't ask for much more really. And hey, if you've never played an RPG before, then you could start here because it looks like a really cool game for a really low price. But the RPG genre is absolutely stacked with legendary games that are pretty cheap when they're on sale as well. There's mass amounts of franchises and a huge amount of competition. So if you want to start somewhere where you know it'll be a massive, mind-blowing experience, then don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss those options when they're on sale next. We have a psychological horror game next, Grey Dawn. It was released in 2024, so it's 1 year old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it for non-PS Plus members, which is great because you shouldn't have to pay more just because you're not on PS Plus. And this version includes the PS4 and PS5 editions, which is really cool. It's nice to have both versions for free. In this psychological horror, you get to experience a terrifying adventure as a priest quests to prove his innocence after being accused of murder, but strange events involving demonic possession, divine apparitions, and the voice of the devil himself starts to twist the events. Now this game looks really cool. It seems like a murder mystery, but from the perspective of a priest who's going crazy and seeing a lot of horrific things. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool idea. There's a huge amount of games in the horror genre, and I like ones that are a bit different or look like they've put a lot of thought into it or really have a cool idea to put into a game. And this looks like one of them. I think it looks like a really cool game with an interesting idea and story, and it's at a really low price as well. So if you like horror games and you're a fan of things like The Exorcist, then why not take a look at this? It looks like a really cool game, and if you're into this genre, I think there's a lot of fun to be had with this one. So why not check it out? And hey, if you never played a psychological horror before, then you could definitely start here. It looks like a really cool game for a really low price. You can get big AAA legendary ones in this genre as well, but they're more expensive than this. So you might want to start off here since it's cheap, and then if you don't like it, at least you haven't wasted a lot of money. But hey, if you want to wait for one of the bigger legendary ones instead, then don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss them when they're on sale in future videos. Hammer Watch Anniversary Edition is our next game. It was released in 2023, so it's 2 years old, but the original game came out in 2013, so it's older than that really, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.19, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as this edition includes all of the DLC, plus an extra campaign, updated graphics, new item system, and a new difficulty option as well. Just keep in mind there's no upgrades for this game, so make sure you pick up the right one because you're going to be stuck with it. In this hack-and-slash RPG, the king has been overthrown, and the kingdom is under torment of Blight, the Horrible, and his dragon army. You have to gather up heroes to delve into perilous labyrinths, to defeat malicious beasts and foes. It features 7 classes to play as, and 4-player online multiplayer as well, So if you've got a group of friends to play with, this might be a really cool game for you to play together. Now you don't get to see a lot of top-down hack-and-slash RPGs before, and especially old school ones like this that have retro graphics. It's a very niche genre these days, but it's also fun to see, especially for people who have nostalgia, and the fact you can play it with friends is really cool. So if you're a fan of these old school top-down hack-and-slash RPGs, and you like the idea of playing it with mates, or maybe you just want to play it on your own, then you want to check this out. It's really well reviewed, and it seems like a lot of fun with a load of really cool weapons and abilities in it. So definitely check it out if you like the look of this old school game. It's a huge amount of fun for people who like this sort of game. And hey, if you never played a hack-and-slash RPG before, then you could start here if you're into retro stuff. It may not be for everyone, but if it's for you, there's a lot of fun to be had with this game, and I think you'll really enjoy it. But if you'd rather have something that's a bit more mainstream, then don't forget to subscribe, and then you'll have plenty of options to choose from in future videos. Killer Frequency is our next game. It was released in 2023, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a decent price for a really cool looking game. In this adventure horror, set in 1987 in small-town USA, after the sheriff is killed, a DJ must help radio callers escape from a mysterious killer by solving puzzles before the callers die live on air. It features full voice acting and an 80s soundtrack as well, which is pretty cool if you're a fan of nostalgia or the 80s in general. Now, this seems like a really cool adventure. I mean, it's classed as a horror because of the murders and stuff, but really, I kind of see it more like a thriller or suspense game in general, because you're trying to help people by solving puzzles in a really cool adventure. I think it's a really innovative story and a really cool way to tell a story as well, via the DJ's perspective and the callers that call in. I'm just a big fan of this idea. I think it's really cool and interesting, and I'm even tempted to pick it up myself. So if you're a fan of adventure games or horror games, or you just like thrillers and that sort of stuff, you'll probably be intrigued by this game, and you should check it out. It's very different within this genre, and I think for people that are drawn to this game, they'll have a great time with it. So why not pick it up? And hey, if you've never played an adventure horror game before, then you could definitely start here. It's a very unique blend of game genres, and I think it's a very unique and cool game as well. It's definitely not typical of a lot of games, but if you're tempted by it, why not check it out? At this price, you're getting a really unique experience, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But if you'd rather something a bit different, don't worry, there'll be plenty more games for you to choose from in future videos instead. Lair of the Clockwork God is our next game. It was released in 2020, so it's 5 years old, and it's on at least an 80% discount for the price of £2.99 or £1.49 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for this point-and-click platformer. In this game, all of the apocalypses are happening at once thanks to an old computer, and now two friends must adventure together, solving puzzles to teach the old computer about feelings and stop all of the apocalypses before it's too late. Now this game's got a quirky sense of humour and features a unique mix of genres, with the point-and-click genre combined with 2D platforming that's very unique and different, and along with the quirky humour, it's definitely a very different game, and you're going to have to like a very unique mix of old school genres to enjoy this. But hey, if that's you, it'll probably be a really cool game that's very unique and very different, and you'll have a lot of fun with it, and it'll be very refreshing to play. So if you like any of what this game looks like, check it out. It's very different, but I think if it fits you, you'll have a great time with it, and it might just be the best game you've played in ages. We have an action roguelike next, Lovecraft's Untold Stories. It was released in 2019, so it's 6 years old, and it's on at least a 75% discount for the price of £3.24 or £2.59 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal for this unique game. In this game, you get to choose from 5 characters to fight hundreds of monsters from the Cthulhu mythos in randomly generated levels, solving puzzles and finding clues to defeat the Great Old Ones. It features RPG elements, a madness mechanic, and character backstories as well, which is really cool. It promises a lot of depth, with the backstories of the characters being revealed through gameplay and looking for secrets and information in the levels, which I think is pretty cool, especially with a roguelike. You want extra content included to give you more reasons to replay it over and over again, and just to make it a bit more fun as well. So if you're a fan of roguelikes and you like Cthulhu or just horror-y stuff in general, then you'll probably really enjoy this. It's really gory and there's a lot of action in it. So if that's the sort of thing you like, then definitely check this out. It's a unique mix of content, and I think a lot of people will really enjoy this game if they take a look at it. So why not check it out if you like the sound of it? You might just have a great time. And hey, if you've never played an action roguelike before, then you could start here. It's a unique mix of genres, and if you're into Cthulhu, then you'll probably really enjoy it. But if you're not into Cthulhu, or you're just not into this sort of genre in general, then there'll be plenty more games for you to choose from in future videos, so don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss out. We have a bundle next, Machinarium and Creeks. It was released in 2022, so it's 3 years old, but the individual games are older than that, and it's on a 79% discount for the price of £5.66, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal considering you get both games included in one cheap bundle for a really low price. Now, each game is individually on sale right now for £3.19, which is more expensive than buying the bundle, but if you only want one of them, that option is available right now. In Machinarium, you get to play an award-winning adventure to help Yosef the robot escape the scrapyard he's been thrown into, back into the city, and save his kidnapped girlfriend Berta from the Black Cat Brotherhood gang. While in Creeks, something unusual is happening behind the walls of your room as you descend into a world inhabited by avian beings, deadly furniture monsters, and carefully designed puzzles to uncover a great secret. Now, both of these games have a lot of exploration, a unique art style, and generally seem pretty unique and fun. Both of them are adventure-based games, as well as pretty interesting stories. They both got great reviews, and generally they just seem to be really good games. So if you've been interested by one or both of these games for a while, then why not check out this bundle? You're getting two really cool and unique games for a pretty good price. They'll probably be on a better sale at some point in the future, but this is still a good deal right now. So if you're tempted, check it out. It's well worth picking up. And hey, if you've never played adventure games before, then you could definitely start here if you're into both of these games. But if you'd rather spend your money on one game and it be a bigger AAA game or something a bit more well-renowned, then you will have that option as well. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss those options when they're on sale in future videos. We have a puzzle game next, Manifold Garden. It was released in 2020, so it's 5 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £3.74 or £2.99 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. Now, there is a deluxe version on sale as well, but it only includes the soundtrack and PS4 theme, so I wouldn't recommend picking up that one, but if you want that, you can get that version instead if you want. In this puzzle game, you have to rediscover gravity and explore an Escher-esque world of impossible architecture, mastering its rules to solve physics-defying puzzles to cultivate a garden, opening new paths towards an eternal expanse. Now, this game's got a really striking art style. It's very simplistic but detailed, and it's reminiscent of the Escher-style puzzles and paintings that you've seen around the internet and probably everywhere. They're very famous at this point. Now, I'm a big fan of puzzle games, especially adventure ones where you get to see really cool environments and have really cool stories. And this looks like a really interesting puzzle game. The environment is definitely different and unique, and I think the puzzles look really interesting as well. So if you're a fan of crazy puzzle adventure games, then why not take a look at this? It's very unique, especially with this art style, and I think fans of the genre will really appreciate that. So if you like the look of it as much as I do, why not check it out? It looks like a really cool and interesting puzzle game at a pretty good price. And hey, if you've never played a puzzle game before, then you could start here if you're really interested in the art style and the idea of the game. Puzzle games are really cool and varied, and a lot of them get really cheap as well. So if you've never played them before, you should start with one that really interests you, or that you like the look of the art style or the theming of. And if this is the game for you, then definitely check it out. But if not, you'll have a lot of other options in future videos, so don't worry about it. Martian Forest is our next game. It was released in 2021, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £5.39, which is a pretty good deal. In this RPG, you get to play as Milne, an apothecary living in the mysterious forest, where she must explore to find the ingredients for her potions, but she soon finds herself caught up in an unsolved mystery deep within the forest's underground ruins. Now, this game advertises two distinct parts to the game. When you're in the forest, you get to explore and collect stuff for your apothecary, with activities like fishing and other sorts of entertaining adventure-y stuff. But then when you reach the dungeon delving part, then it becomes more of an old-school RPG with turn-based combat, and a really cool dark adventure where you get to uncover the history and the past of your lost mother. And it's got an anime art style as well, so if you're a fan of that, then that'll be really cool for you. Generally speaking, anime-themed games are really different and interesting, the story's pretty different, and the mix of gameplay, genres, and areas seems pretty cool. The reviews are really positive, people seem to love this game, so if you're into adventure RPGs with a really cool story, then why not check this out? It looks like a really good game at a pretty good price, so definitely check it out if you're interested. And hey, if you've never played an RPG before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. At the price you're paying for this, you can get big, legendary AAA RPGs instead, which you're probably better off starting with. Now, this is a really good game though, so if you really like the look of this one, and you've always wanted to try an RPG, then why not check it out? And then if you enjoy it, you can always go on to the legendary ones at a later date. Or if you just want to skip it completely, then don't forget to subscribe, and then there'll be plenty more games for you to choose from in future videos instead. We have a unique horror game next, Pathologic 2. It was released in 2020, so it's 5 years old, and it's on at least a 75% discount for the price of £7.24 or £5.79 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal. Now, the Marble Nest DLC is also on sale for at least a 75% discount for the price of £1.99 or £1.59 with PS Plus. So if you've always been looking for the DLC or you want to pick that up alongside it, it's on sale right now as well. And there's no version that includes it at the moment, so that'll be your best option if you want the whole game. In this open world horror game, a plague is devouring a secluded rural town, and you must do your best to survive by making medicine, trading, and even fighting if necessary. Not everyone will survive, and you only have 12 days to make decisions in a lose-lose situation. Now, I really like the idea of this game. The fact that it's got 12 days in the story, and anyone and everyone could die, and you have to do your best making decisions along the way to save who you can, where you can, or who you want to save, and ignore the ones you don't care about. The decision's up to you, and it gives a varied story with a load of different outcomes and endings as well, which I think is really cool and interesting, and I think for fans of the genre, this might be a very unique and interesting experience. So if you like the idea of it as much as I do, a lot of people have reviewed it well, so it's clear that people that play this game really enjoyed it as well, then you should definitely check it out. It's a very different and unique horror game that really shook up the genre, and I think justifiably so as well. It's a really cool game idea. So if you like the sound of it as much as me, why not take a look at it? It's very unique, and I think fans of horror will absolutely adore this game. And hey, if you never played an open world horror game before, because that's a very niche genre, then you could definitely start here. It's a really cool and interesting game at a pretty fair price, although at some point I'm sure it'll be cheaper, so if you don't mind waiting a little bit longer or you're not quite sure about it, then you will have other options in future videos, and you'll probably be able to get this cheaper at some point as well. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss them when they're on sale next. We have a blast from the past next, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. It was released in 2018, so it's 7 years old, but the original game came out on 360, so it's much older than that really, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of $4.99, which is a pretty good deal as this edition has fully reworked and improved graphics, so you're getting the best version of the game, which is really cool. In this third-person open-world action game, you play as a member of the Red Faction movement, fighting to liberate Mars from the oppressive Earth Defense Force. It features a true physics-based demolition system, allowing you to destroy anything with a variety of weapons and vehicles. Now, I never owned this game, but back in the day one of my mates did, and I used to play it when I was at his place, because it was really fun to just drop in and mess around with. It's an open-world action game, but everything's destructible, and I mean everything. Is there a massive 10-story building full of enemies? You don't have to go in and kill them, you can just blow the whole building up. Now, you can't just do it with one nuke or something, but you can go in with explosives, machine guns, vehicles, all sorts of stuff, and you can just destroy walls, undermine foundations, and just level anything that you want to with enough effort. So if you're the sort of person that likes to play GTA and you just run around causing havoc and fight in the military, then you'll really enjoy this game. It's not a bad game, but it's got such a cool, fun gameplay that it's very unique, and it's never been copied since, I don't think. I don't think this level of destruction is available in any modern games, not to the same extent as this anyway. So if you like the sound of causing chaos and having fun in a third-person open-world action game, definitely check this out. It's very different and unique. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun if you give it a chance. And hey, if you never played a third-person open-world action game before, then you could start here. It's a very different and unique game, and if that tempts you and you've always wanted to try this genre, then why not take a chance on it? The gameplay's really fun, and especially the destruction elements are really good. But if that's not your sort of thing, or you'd rather pick up another action game instead, maybe a bigger AAA legendary one, then just subscribe, and then you won't miss them when they're on sale in future videos. We have a puzzle adventure next, Roki. It was released in 2022, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the low price of £2.39, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and it's a really great deal for a really cool looking game. In this game, you get to play as Tove on a journey to save her family as she explores an ancient wilderness full of mythical monsters and a long-forgotten Scandinavian folklore, solving riddles and mysteries to uncover long-forgotten magical items. Now, this game is really well reviewed, and it's got a pretty cool and unique cartoony art style as well. Plus, I'm a big fan of adventure puzzle games. I think it's a really good genre, and this one looks like a really cool one, especially with the Scandinavian folklore. It'll give you the opportunity to delve into a mythos that a lot of people haven't experienced before, and it'll make it a really unique and cool experience for people that aren't from that part of the world, which is really cool. It's nice to explore other people's cultures through a really cool and interesting game. It looks like such a good game at a really low price, so if you're tempted, why not check it out? I think fans of this genre will absolutely adore this game, so why not pick it up? And hey, if you've never played a puzzle adventure before, then you could definitely start here. It's a really good game at a really low price, and especially if you're into Scandinavian folklore, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. But if you're not interested in this one, there's a load of puzzle adventures around, so you can pick up another one with a different theme in, or folklore in the future, if you're not interested in this one. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss the other puzzle adventures when they're on sale in future videos. I really like the look of the next game, Tales of Iron. It was released in 2021, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a really cool and interesting looking game. And this version includes both the story expansions, Bloody Whiskers, and Bright Fir Forest as well. Plus you get the PS4 and the PS5 versions included, which is really cool. Now there is a bundle for 1 and 2 on sale for 50% discount, £12.49, which isn't that good of a deal, and the reviews of the second game are terrible. The reviews for this one are really good, and the second one seems to have fallen off completely, so you probably won't want to look at that at all. In this action RPG, Reggie, heir to the Rat Throne, explores a world full of unique characters, fighting to restore his fallen kingdom from the merciless Frog Clan. It features brutal Souls-like combat, 6 biomes to explore, narration by Doug Cockle, and more as well. Now this game looks really cool, it's got a really unique and interesting art style, and the combat seems really good. It seems to be measured and tactical. You don't just run around spam and attack. You actually have to pay attention to your enemies, make decisions, and then employ a strategy to defeat them, which is really cool. Combined with the RPG aspects of being able to change weapons and equipment, this just looks like a really cool and unique game, and it's got really good reviews backing that up as well. So if you're a fan of Souls-like combat, but you're also a fan of action RPGs and 2D gameplay, then you should take a look at this. It's very different and unique, and I think it deserves the praise it gets. So if you've never heard of it and you like any of what I've said, why not check it out? I think it might just be the coolest game you've played in a long time. And hey, if you've never played an action RPG before, then you could start here if you're into games with difficulty, because it's Souls-like combat and the fighting is tactical. So if you're not looking for a challenging game, you probably won't enjoy it. But if that just makes you want it more, then why not check this out? It looks like a really cool and interesting game from a mix of interesting genres for a pretty good price, with a lot of content included. So why not check it out if you like the look of it? But if not, there'll be plenty more options for you to choose from in future videos instead. And the final game I have for you is my star by The Smurfs Mission Village. It was released in 2021, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the low price of £2.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, which is a really good deal. Now just keep in mind that there's a PS4 and PS5 version, but there's no upgrade between them, so make sure you pick up the right version, because whichever one you buy, you're stuck with. In this 3D platformer, after Gargamel discovers the formula for the evil plant Village, Papa Smurf sends the Smurfs to search for an antidote, save the forest, and save their fellow Smurfs and the entire village. And it features 4 Smurfs to play as, and 2-player local multiplayer as well, which means split screen's an option, which is really cool. Now, this is a very old school game, and I really like the look of it. It reminds me of the old Mario games, and those sorts of adventure games, especially Mario Sunshine, because they give you an item in this game that seems a lot like the flood system from that. It allows you to heal the forest and get rid of the village and save the day. So if you're a fan of old school platforming games like that, like Croc or Banjo and Kazooie and that sort of thing, or Spyro or Crash Bandicoot even, then you'll probably really enjoy this. I'm pretty tempted myself. I might pick it up if it gets a bit cheaper or if I run out of games to play because I've got so many backlogged already. But hey, if you're into old school 3D platformers, definitely check this out. I know it's a Smurf game, but it's got really good reviews and it just seems like a good quality old school platform adventure. So why not check it out if you like the sound of it like I do. Like I said, it's my star buy. It's well worth your time and money, I promise. And hey, if you've never played a 3D platform before, then you could definitely start here. It's a really good game at a really low price, with a really good franchise attached as well. Pretty much the only reason I say not to pick this up is if you're not tempted by 3D platformers, or if you just hate the Smurfs for some reason. But if that's the case, don't forget to subscribe, and you'll have plenty more games to choose from in future videos instead. And that's all the games I have for the PlayStation Indies PSN sale. Whoa, that was a long one. Now, it's been a couple of videos since I changed the overlays. What did you think? Did you hate them? Did you like them? Let me know in the comments and I'll take that in consideration going forward. Anyway, what did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the star buy? Did it deserve it? Or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your comments below and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you guys found some really cool games to play, but more importantly, I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Hoil Vour.